sum up the feelings of you on behalf of all the Atlanta sports fans out there right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's especially since Cleveland has won a championship now, and the Cubs won a championship. It's the most tormented city in the country, and even in a city and with a franchise that has had so many bad and horrible moments, last night just kind of blew them all away. And I mean, you have a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl, and a 39-year-old quarterback, and the other team actually looks like a 39-year-old quarterback, and the Falcons were younger, faster, hungrier, it almost looked like. I thought they were out coaching New England, and things fell apart. I mean, they had a couple of really bad offensive play calls by Kyle Shanahan. They kind of opened the door, and Tom Brady sort of drove through it. And to me, once it was within a touchdown, it's like, you know what, this thing's all over. I mean, I think New England might come back and win this, and that's exactly what happened. It's one of those events that you never forget, no matter which side you're on.
So what, when you have a fan of your work or a Falcon fan come up to you and ask you the inevitable question of how the hell did that happen, how would you answer that question, Jeff?
Well, I mean, the question you usually get in something like this is, or the statement is, well, the Patriots didn't win it, we lost it, or the other way around. And, my response to that, I really hate that sort of premise, but because you need both things to happen. I mean, you needed the greatness of Tom Brady on the other side, but this doesn't happen unless basically the Falcons blow it. And the Falcons blew it. And they had, even after the first touchdown pulled within 8 points, they were in field goal range. And all they had to do was basically almost take two knees and instead of Kyle Shanahan call the pass play. Mm-hmm. And Matt Ryan got sacked, and then next thing you know, they're out of field goal range. And, I think Kyle's a really good offensive coordinator, but he sort of outthought himself last night. And you just can't give the other team a shot. And look, I think the Falcons are built really well for the future. But one of the problems in sports, and certainly in the NFL, is you just can't really trust what's on paper. And you don't know if the Falcons are ever going to get back to this moment or not. And so my response is that I guess they weren't quite ready for this moment yet, excuse me, and talent notwithstanding and youth notwithstanding, I don't know if they'll ever get back there. They might. I mean, on paper they look good, but you just don't know. A lot of things have to go right during a season to get to a Super Bowl.
Would you call this the worst loss in sports history?
Well, it's the worst one I've ever witnessed. So I go back to 1959.
Wow.
I'll have to check YouTube, but it's I mean, when you consider, they're awful losses, Rich, but when you consider the stage of the Super Bowl, if this happens in week 3 against Tampa Bay and they blow a 28-3 lead, it's like, okay, they blew a 28-3 lead. The stage is what makes it big. And there's no stage bigger than the Super Bowl. So in that sense, I would be hard-pressed to say that there's a worse loss in sports history than this.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.